it, wouldn't it? I did not mute it. It just joined me in that way. Okay, first, I'm going to warn you that I think one of my kids left the door open and I have flies infesting my house. So I am ready for them to land anywhere near me. It's driving me bananas. They're in my hair. It's bad. It's bad. Okay, here is the link to the slides. It is 2 p.m. for me in Kansas. Okay, you ready? Okay, I'm gonna present a window. Now, Lauren, I have given you, actually, I do this for you, Lauren, for you. I have the schedule a webinar. I made that for you, and I don't think you filled it out yet. But have you? Did you? No, you did. Maybe you did. No, I can't remember. But I did make it.
Yes, I did. And on the 3rd of October, you're going to have my request.
Okay.
If you remember.
Oh, you know what?
Was it add-ons? The add-ons, right. The add-ons one is for
I remember thinking, this is at the same time I always have them, because I've been, I know that you're in Israel, and I'm trying to, help you out. And then there you go, making it at the same time I always do. That was my thing. Not that you didn't. The irony, Lauren, the irony.
And I'm here. I'm a big fan. I will have you know, because it's Yom Kippur now. I'm not supposed to be here. It's like a big no-no.
Lord, put your name in the book of life for all of next year. Is that right?
Amen. Yes. L'shana tova techatemu.
That's what I said. Yeah. All right, my friends. It's 2 o'clock, but I'm still going to drink coffee. This is my Peru cup. Not that anyone would know, but just saying. Okay, we're going to do first slide. I've made this, and then I just keep adding more features onto it. So I've got a bunch of new features. So if you have used it before, I'm really wanting to show you, well, I'll show you the whole thing, but really want to show you the new features that I have. And what it basically lets you do is to push and pull Google Slides. So my initial way to use this was you have all your students in the same, my thinking is, okay, we have a journal. And the students would add a slide every day to the journal, right? And you want them in the same one, like all year, all semester, or all week, I don't know, whatever. And the trick to doing digital is you don't want to scroll past old stuff. So if they add their journal entry at the bottom, like, no thank you, right? You should put it at the top. So one of the things, just in general, I want to encourage you to okay, digital is different. What's something different I do than when I did paper? When I had kids keep paper journals or paper notebooks, we go front to back. I would like to argue we go bottom to top when we do the slides. So the new stuff is always at the top. So you always know what you're supposed to do, because as soon as you open the Google Slides, it's not old, it's what you're supposed to be doing. And when I want to go grade it, I don't have to scroll. Yes, right? So there's my first thing, is to try and convince you we're going to do it different. We're going to build our slides backwards. Okay, so then once the students type on the slides, I'm like, oh, I got to open all those. That sounds terrible. That's just slow. Can we all agree? It's just not fun. It's just not fun to open up 30 Google Slides or Docs or whatever. I try to avoid that like the plague. So one of the ways that I avoid that like the plague is I have alicekiller.com/pull the paragraph, which grabs all the text off of a Google Doc. And alicekiller.com/first slide pulls off the text off of the first slide. But my lovely and bestie here, my English teacher friend, and I'm sure she will not mind me saying this, she was doing real good at giving feedback on the daily journals. And then, she became like the rest of us. And once a week felt like a better idea than checking it every day. Am I right? So out of empathy for my bestie here, I now have it where we'll pull all the slides. So if you haven't checked it for week, 2 weeks, 5 weeks, it's going to give you all the slides of everything they put on there. It's going to be a hot mess, but you know, you'll still like it. You'll still like it. So the first thing I need is for you to please put your name and email address on this spreadsheet. Well, let me make sure it's everyone can edit. Sometimes I'm good at doing things in advance. Come on, baby. Yes, you can edit. Super. So if you would please, so that you can participate in this with me, put your name and your email on this spreadsheet, and I'll explain it in a second. I'm going to stop presenting because I don't want to accidentally project your email addresses. Coffee is good. All right, just wait for you guys to get it on there.
Alice, while you're moving around, is First Slide an add-on? Because I couldn't find it before I got onto the Meet.
You have to type it. You have to type alicekeeler.com/first slide.
Okay.
99.9% of my stuff, I don't bother to do the submit it to Google process for multiple reasons. Reason number one, it's not a short thing to do. It's like a lot of screens to fill out, and they require that I make icons and it like is unfun. I would rather just stick a stick in my eye. So there's that. And then just getting them to approve it takes a while. And if they don't like it, they'll charge you $15,000 to look at it more closely, and I'm not paying money for that. It's just not fun. That's the bottom line on it, and it might cost me a bunch of money. And so unless, I don't know, I have free time, I'm not doing it. So basically all of my stuff, you have to know everything's alicekeeler.com, right? alicekeeler.com/carnitas, alicekeeler.com/chicken soup, alicekeeler.com/rice, alicekeeler.com/first slide. So as long as you know like the slash part, right? I want first slide, I want pile of slides, I want pull the paragraph, I want copy folder, I think. Whatever. I have a ton of them, of tons. I think I have alicekeeler.com/3min. Let me try that. I just need to make a big list. Yeah, I do. I have alicekeeler.com/3min. I just make these. I got them for everything. And that's how you get my add-ons, pretty much. And they give you a scary screen of doom because they're letting you know that I did not submit it to Google. No, I didn't, and I'm not gonna. But you made a copy, you're the owner, you're authorizing your self-access. Zero, not one of my add-ons collects data. I don't have any access to your anything for not one of them. That is a universal truth. I don't have access to anything. So just say yes, whatever it says. You're just authorizing yourself. Remember, you made a copy, you're the owner of the code. Okay? All right. So is everybody on the spreadsheet? I see. Okay. And I'm going to, I need, Kristen, do you go by Chris? She's not listening to me. Do you see this fly is what I'm talking about? Kristen,
Yeah.
you're blocked. Okay, oh, you're muted, rather. Wait.
I do go by Chris sometimes. Either or.
What would you prefer that I call you?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Just to be clear, I don't like Allison because it's not my name. Sometimes people will call me Allison. I'm like, it's Alice. They're like, well, I like Allison better. Like, well, that's nice because it's not what my birth certificate says. All right, when you put your email in that box, that's when we're going to do it. No pressure. Oh, yes. Teresa, let me give you the slides. Here is the slides. Brenda, I'll get you on the spreadsheet. Okay. Do I have everybody? I need Teresa. Teresa, just put your email in the chat. I'll just add you manually. Thank you. All right, so what you are doing is not really part of the process unless you don't use, well, I'll explain in a second. I am going to create the folder. Okay. And I'm going to make slides. Hold on. Running my code, just waiting for it to do it. And you're like, what's it doing, Alice? Don't worry about it because it's not part of what we're doing, but I need this. Okay. Okay, good. It's working. And then, okay. And then I'm going to email you the slides. I'm going to hide the email addresses so I can now show it. Share my screen. Here we go. All right, all right. So here's the deal. With First Slide, the idea is that every student has their own slides. So if I have 30 students, I have 30 slides. If I have 140 students, I have 140 slides. Now, how do I normally make this? Is I use Google Classroom. I just create an assignment in Google Classroom, and I add a Google Slides where it makes a copy per student, and then that automatically makes a folder in Google Drive with all the slides. If you are not a Google Classroom user, or we're not in the same class, right? Like I can't do that with you guys right here. So, well, I could if I put you in a classroom, but just go with me on that, right? So in that case, what I did is I used, do you see this where it says alicekeeler.com/folder of slides? So I made this for anybody who is not a Google Classroom user, and they would be challenged to get a single folder with a slides per student. That's not part of the process for First Slide, but the part of the process for First Slide is getting a folder of slides. And if you don't have a folder of slides, you can use alicekeeler.com/folder of slides to make one and have a little menu. If you have students that add in after you make the folder of slides, you just put some slides in that folder. You don't have to run the code again, you know. So First Slide lets you push and pull Google Slides. And so you're going to need a folder in Google Drive where it has an individual Google Slides per student. And you guys help me out here. So now I've got, you see this? I have a folder with you guys' stuff in it. And you're going to need a master slides. So this is totally separate. It's totally separate. So I'm just going to use slides.new. I'm going to call this Alice's Demo Master Slides. Alice Demo Master Slides. All right, this is just for me. I don't share it with anybody. I don't change the sharing permissions. You know, I might make a whole bunch of them, and I might use some now and some later. I don't know. You don't have to do this for first slide, but I'm just going to. And so, right, I'm gonna just get my Bitmoji, put it on there. I'm gonna say, this is Alice. I'm gonna add another one, do some work today. All right, so these are just for me. And I plan to give them to the students, but not yet. So what I need you to do is to go to your Google Slides. Now, I emailed it to you. If you are on the spreadsheet, which I'll give you the link to the spreadsheet, you can click on the link for yours. I need you to type on the first slide and just put some stuff on there. Here's the deal. I'm not going to open your slides. That's the way this rolls. You can put Bitmojis on there all you want. I won't see them because I'm not going to open your slides, right? I'm going to pull the text off of your slides, put them on my spreadsheet. It's going to be amazing. It won't be this spreadsheet. It'll be a different one. Okay, so what you're doing is finding the slides I made you and putting something on it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to alicekeeler.com/first slide, alicekeeler.com/first slide. I'm going to make a copy. Wait for it. Now, with anything I ever code, just take a deep breath. You got to let the code load. Got to let the code load. So you're just waiting for the menu to come up. Okay, I'm going to go to add-ons. It says first slide. I'm going to show the sidebar. It's going to ask me to authorize it, which will happen every time you use my codes, anything I do. And whatever it says, just say yes. Remember, you're giving yourself permission. You're not giving me any access whatsoever. And in the sidebar, it's going to say choose a folder. It will remember the folder. So remember I said, what happens if you get new students? Go to the folder and put more slides in the folder. So what it does every time is it grabs slides out of the folder. So I'm not connecting it to the slides, I'm connecting it to the folder. So it makes it real easy to add and drop students because once you have the folder, you just keep adding slides or removing slides from that folder. So I'm going to choose a folder. Did I click it? Maybe not. Sometimes some of the stuff, like the code just takes a while to execute, and I pushed it, and it takes like, I don't know, 2 minutes before it actually comes up. If you push it twice, it does it twice. It's not good. Okay, I'm going to select a folder. Now, here's my little trick. If you didn't just make it, I will edit the folder title in Drive so it is the most recently edited thing so that when I go to search, it's always the first option. That's a little trick, right? So if I edit the folder title, even if I like edit it and then I change it right back, then the folder was last modified seconds ago and it becomes the first option, which makes it way easier to find. Select. And so now what it should be doing is grabbing all of your slides out of the folder. Of course, I'm the owner. You guys all saw me make them. In Google Classroom, when students turn in, you become the owner. And so then it'll look the same right here where it puts your name and email address for everything because they turned it in. So if you're going to use first slide, I recommend you return first. The other thing in Google Classroom is the students can click the X to remove it from the assignment because there's no attachments in Google Classroom. In Google Classroom, everything is a link. It's linked to Drive, like the slides are in Drive. So when they click the X, they're not deleting it. They're just removing the link in Classroom. which means when they turn it in, it does not switch the ownership. So if you're having them doing ongoing journal, consider you have an assignment that makes the slides for them. And really the only purpose there is it creates a folder and it creates the slides, right? And then you have them remove the folder from their assignment so that when they turn it in, it doesn't switch the ownership. And then they can keep having edit access. And then it says their name and email when you pull the first slide. You'll figure out real quickly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Is row H what we wrote on the first slide?
Yeah.
It seems like it, but you can't see the image.
No, it pulls the text. I said you can put
I put a picture there and you can't see it. Yeah.
So let's take a look at Lauren's.
Yeah.
So this is what Lauren's looks like, even though I told you I wasn't going to open any of them. I knew it was a lie when I said
This is what Lauren looked like 20 years ago. I was young and slim.
If you suspect that they've added pictures or images or things like that, you'll notice the spreadsheet does grab the URL of the Google Slides. And I'm able to like open it and look at it if I want to. So what it's going to do, I'm going to use the X to get rid of the sidebar, is I can see that Santa wrote starting. She also has, what it does is it makes a column per text box. So if you have 2 text boxes, there'll be 2 columns. So we can see that Kathy had 2 text boxes and she wrote in the second column. So what I'm going to do, right, I can see what everybody put. Look at this right now. I'm reading everybody's slides right this second. Right? It's amazing. So then I put down here, hey, Santa, thanks for getting started. Hey, Brenda, great name. Hi, Kathy. I'm having an awesome Kansas day. Glad you can spend it with me. Hi, Chris. Hope you also have a great day. Hi, Tina. This is going to change your life. Hi, Kimberly. Where are your flowers? You usually have like this nice vase of flowers behind you, and I'm just, I like it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they're from my garden.
Is that true? They're from your garden?
Yep. I haven't picked any in a while, though.
Just trying to shame me, aren't you? I'm going to show you my garden. They're all dead. Everything in it's dead and rotting. Okay, so if they don't do their journal, I do not give them credit. Right there. Hi, Lauren. Hi, Teresa. Get to work. Hi, Michelle. Get to work. This was a blank row. Okay, so I did that on purpose because I wanted you to see how quick it is for me to give feedback to everybody. Did you see that? I'm not even breaking a sweat. I used your name and everything. Like I personalized every one of them. I'm like boom, 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 boom. And then I'm going to go back to the add-ons menu and I go to first slide. I'm going to show the sidebar. And you see how it gives me the option to send feedback. Okay, there it goes. It's taking my feedback off the spreadsheet and it's putting it on your slides. Do you see them? I see Lauren's face. Let's look again at Lauren's slide. Look at that. It puts this big giant arrow with my feedback. So it points at the slide like, hey, I said stuff about this. All right, let's look at Kathy's. So you see, like I said, the first text box is empty, so that first column was empty. It makes a column per text box. And there's my feedback that I gave to Kathy. Sandy, you have to go to alicekeeler.com/first slide. And the trick is you have to already have a folder in Google Drive that has all the slides in it. If you don't have a folder, use alicekeeler.com/folder of slides to make one if you need it. Otherwise, I just use Google Classroom. All right, cool. So now I'm going to go ahead and email you.
How did you manage to send the slides in the first place to each one of us?
I haven't yet.
No,
right now, I just sent feedback.
I've got my own slide and I got it by mail. So how did you send it by email so quickly?
I'm magical.
Oh.
I coded it, Lauren. Here, look, on this one where I did the folder of slides, it says email the slides.
Oh.
So it's not anything special. If you go to alicekeeler.com/folder of slides.
Oh, that's the template.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm going to use the reuse menu though now. And the reuse menu says use the same folder. So this would be day 2, right? Y'all had your journal, had your day 1. I sucked them in. Tina, you could do everything I do if you quit your job. I only teach half-time, so I can do this the other half-time. I've just decided I'm making this my job. It's my job. So to be fair, okay? So I sleep a lot. If you scroll down here on the reuse menu, you can see that it says on the side to send a prompt. Now, I can send, initially, I just did a blank slide. I'm going to add slide. And so what you should all see on your Google Slides is now, it can take a little time. When I, like an idiot, I'm making a YouTube video and I'm like demonstrating how to do this. And I go to listofrandomnames.com and I get 50 students and I make a folder for all, of slides for 50 students. And then on my video, I'm demonstrating updating 50 slides, and 17 minutes later it does. So just from experience, I'm just going to let you know, if you have a lot of students, the time to like pull them and push them can be up to 20 minutes. So it'll go faster here because I only got 10. So I sent you a blank slide. Let's check. Let's look at Chris's. And sure enough, she has a blank slide. You see this? I was able to push a blank slide. Now, where I like to do that is I like to push a blank slide if I was lazy. So what if Monday the kids did a journal, and Tuesday the kids did a journal, and Wednesday the kids did a journal, and I'm like, shoot, I forgot to give feedback on Monday and Tuesday. What I will do is I will pull what they have, and then I will push a blank slide so that when I push the feedback always goes to the first slide. That way it's going on to a blank slide instead of going on to Wednesdays. So that's just a tip. So I'm going to send out my journal prompt. I'm going to send a prompt. I'm just pushing the button in the side. I'm saying journal 9/27. What is your favorite Google tool? I'll do it for Lauren. I'll do the English spelling. Is that right? No? Yeah. Maybe no. I'm just being funny. Okay. So now what I've done is I've pushed a slide to you. It goes to the top because, like I said, I'm trying to convince you don't want to scroll. You know, we're used to doing the first at the top and the last at the bottom because that's how we use paper. I don't know if you remember this, but when you would get student journals in the paper, you'd actually flip it over and flip the back one and start at the back. You remember that? Because you ain't flipping through all those papers either. New stuff at the top, my friends. New stuff at the top. Brenda, the student slides should be that the student has edit access. It doesn't have to be anyone. Just whoever's going to edit needs edit access. Put this on my coffee warmer. And then when you're done, I'm going to click Use Same Folder. And so I don't have to go back to Google Drive and pick the folder out of Drive ever again. It remembers it. So you want to bookmark this spreadsheet because you're going to use it over and over and over again if that's the way you're using it. I'm going to remove the sidebar. So you can see the first thing that I see for everybody obviously would be my prompt, right? That was my first text box. My second text box is what you put. So what I a lot of times will do is highlight the columns that's like the link to the slides, the title, the ID, and the question. And I right click and I hide. Like I don't really need those. Yeah, Lauren, you can use it over and over again the whole year. So I told you my English teacher bestie here in Kansas, I do this to her a lot. I'm like, just sit over there and don't look. And then I take over her computer and I do things. And she's just like, Alice, I am happy to let you just do it. So I set up all of her journals. I made her Google Classroom assignment. I did the first slide and then I bookmarked all of the spreadsheets because she has 6 periods. So I bookmarked 6 spreadsheets, one for each first slide, onto her toolbar for her. So she just has to click in the bookmark bar to pull it back up again. And I also coded for her where every day it pushes out the new journal prompt, or it just says journal and the date because she doesn't have an actual title. I'm debating putting that into the generic one. If anyone's interested in that, let me know. But I really just want to read this second text box because I pushed it. So my problem is, of course, now I hit it and I don't know whose this is. So I'm going to do person. The answer is always a spreadsheet. Other person. I try to always include kids' names if I have time. If I have time, if I'm typing a note to a kid, I try to include their name. If I make a video, like video feedback, I try to say their name as many times as humanly possible in the video. I just hid your names. Sorry about that. Here's the best part, right? Copy, paste, 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 paste. You just never had it so good. Right? So then I give my feedback, and I go to add-ons, and I go to first slide, and I show the sidebar, and I send my feedback, and I drink coffee. That was fun. And then I email you your feedback. I just push a button. It's awesome. I'm like, why are these turning yellow? I don't know what I did. You know what it is? It's the yellow's letting me know that I sent an email. I think I updated, that's one of my recent updates, and I forgot that I did it. Like, what's happening here? Okay, good. So now I'm going to go to the reuse menu. It says reuse the same folder. I'm going to go to the reuse menu. Let's just read down everything on the list. I can use the same folder. I can grab all the slides. I can send feedback and email feedback. I can send a prompt. I can send a blank slide. And then this section here is where I can push slides. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to say set slides. And that's where I had this demo slides, right? So I'm going to copy the link to my demo slides. And you guys, it's going to remember this. It's going to remember my demo slides. So I only have to set the slides once. But if you like had a different slides, click set slides again. But you only have to set them once. It remembers your slides. So sometimes I have people like, well, what if I don't want to send all the slides? Great. Delete the ones you don't want to send. And then use Control Z and undo. Or go to the version history. Before you delete them, you go File, Version History, name the current version, all my slides. Now delete the ones you don't want to send. Send them. And then go to the version history and put it back. So there's ways around this, my friends. There's ways around this. So I've set the slides. Now I want to send a slide. So I'm going to send, it says send slide. I'm going to send you slide 2. So you should all get this stoplight thing. So I just said send a slide. It asked me what slide number I want to send. And so even though, remember this is my hot mess of just slides for me. I can make all the journal prompts up for the week in advance. And I just push them one at a time. And they'll have my Bitmoji on it. I know you're all going to wait for me to put a Bitmoji on the rest of them. So just hold tight. You are on number 2, putting some text on number 2. Number 2. Although I should probably give you a text box. Okay. What I should have done was used this layout. All right, layout and Bitmoji. The Bitmoji, I think, just makes it real obvious that the right one was pushed, so we can all match the pictures. So I'm just gonna put my Bitmoji on them. Just suffer through it. Here we go. All right. Okay. So now I'm gonna delete this one because I already sent you it. Wait, this one's my folder. Yeah. Okay. So I'm now going to send you multiple slides. I'm going to send multiple slides. I'm going to start with slide 1. And I'm going to go, I want 5 of them. So this lets you take a chunk. The first step, Kristen, is to have a folder that has Google Slides in it. That's the first step. The second step is to go to alicekeeler.com/first slide and use the add-on menu. And Kristen, I have my steps here in these slides. I will paste that for you. And ask me if I want them at the top or the bottom. You know me, I want them at the top. But it does let you put them at the bottom. And it's doing it one slide at a time. So it's pushing everybody slide 1. And then it pushes everybody slide 2. And then it pushes everybody slide 3, etc. And actually, because I put at the top, it pushes slide 5 and then slide 4 and then slide 3, slide 2, and then slide 1. So if you're watching it, you should see them appear one at a time from the bottom up. Let's look at Lauren's. Yes, that is a very good excuse, Lauren. So right now it says that is the slide. This one with the light. Oh, you see they all just showed up over here? 4, 3, 2, 1. What? Still won't pull from your folder. Oh, so Kristen, that was separate. Kristen, your teachers use Google Classroom?
Yes.
Then they just need to make an assignment in Google Classroom with a copy of slides per student. And that's the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then they just pick the folder for that assignment.
Oh, okay. Choose that time.
Yeah, let me give you a tip. Let's say you teach 6 periods of English.
Yeah.
And so I put all 6 of my periods in the same one so I can do stuff like this. But, you know, I'm not real good at convincing everybody to do that. So you have 6 Google Classrooms, right?
Right.
What I would do is I would make it for one class. And then when you reuse post, you title, in the title, do P1. And in the next class, when you reuse post, in the title, do P2. And in the next class, when you reuse to post, in the title, do P3, because the folder name matches the title. If you don't, you're going to have 6 folders with the exact same name. And I promise you that will drive you bananas because you're going to keep coming back to the same folder. Usually it doesn't matter, right? I don't go to the folder. I don't go to Google Drive and find the assignment folder by digging for it. I don't usually do that.
Right.
So in this case, though, because it's a folder of slides that you're reusing the slides, I would recommend putting in the document or in the assignment title, the period before you assign it. If you edit it after it's assigned, it already made the folder name.
Yeah.
So that's a tip. That's a tip. You don't have to. So now you see how I have I've just pushed you all of these slides. If you can just go through and put a little bit on the slides. I'm going to fill in Michelle's for her. You can change them, Michelle. I see you're in the document. Right, so if you will add something, and maybe just add your own text box. Add your own text box. This is another text box. And here's a fun fact. Shapes are text boxes. So when I add this star, I didn't do anything. I made it and started typing. Your shapes are text boxes. So if you wanted to add a shape and start typing on the shape, it will also come in.
I don't think you're presenting my screen, Alice.
What am I presenting? How about now? It's coming.
Now you're presenting.
I wasn't
It was a person.
this whole time?
No, you were presenting the right thing. I would have told you today.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, like, some of you should have remembered from yesterday.
Oh no, I would have told you.
Oh my gosh, I'm still mad at myself about that. Oh, I promised you yesterday I would tell you what move it is. So it's a Chrome extension. Then the default is 15 minutes, but you can change it. Every 15 minutes, it shuts down your screen and tells you to do something like jump over a pencil or do some wall push-ups or do a Mexican hat dance. Plank. Sitting is worse than smoking. I finally wised up and moved my iMac to the standing desk. So you notice that I'm now standing. Feels so much better. Presenting while you sit just really sucks. That's all right, Teresa.
When you have these, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. when you have these set up and you push out whichever one you want to push out with your prompt, this is the one that they'll type on, correct?
So watch what I'm going to do next, now that you've typed on all of them. Okay, I'm just going to close this so that it's like fresh. I go to add-ons and I want the reuse menu. I should probably change it to say menu. The original version, it made sense to say folder, but then I added all these options.
Right.
So in the red button, it says grab all the slides.
Yeah.
So use the same folder. We'll just pull the first slide. Ooh, look, I have a typo. I'm going to grab all slides. So this is now, if there's 30 slides and each slide has 5 text boxes, it's going to pull 150 columns. So you can see here, I got Kathy says, this is Alice, Ola, day 1, don't be mad, day 2, you know, day 3, day 4. Here's some work. Here's the journal from 9/27. And you'll also notice that my teacher feedback is a text box. That's when I come across teacher feedback, that's basically my clue to stop pushing the right arrow, because I've obviously already looked at the other ones to the right of that. Does that make sense? So I go to the next person, right, and this is Brenda. Here's all Brenda's slides. And when I get to teacher feedback, I know that that is feedback on the ones, if I keep going to the right, I already read those. So this allows me to, I can see what everybody put in each text box. If the kids add extra text boxes, they won't line up anymore, right? Just so you know. And you don't have a lot of control over which is the first, second, or third text box if you have 3 text boxes on a slide. I feel like I can handle that. I mean, I can tell if they got jumbled. If you don't want it to say like day 2 or the journal title, then what I would do instead is on my master slides, I'm going to go to the view menu. I'm going to go to master. I'm going to add a layout. And I am going to, of course, put my Bitmoji on this. The most unsurprising thing I've done today. And I'm going to get rid of this placeholder. And I'm going to add my own text box. I'm going to say journal 9/27. Because the text box is on the layout, it's not a text box on the actual slide. It's locked into the background. So it won't pull my directions and prompts and questions. So if you were to prepare in advance on the layout and then put the placeholder. All right, so that's slide 6. So in my first slide, add-ons, reuse menu, I'm going to send slide. I don't know, Tina. It's not an editable text box. That's why you need the placeholder for the students to type in. I'm going to push slide 6. I'm going to drink coffee. Try and get this fly. So what you'll see is that I have pushed this one slide to Tina's where it says journal 9/27. She can't move it or edit it because it was a text box on the layout. Yeah, Kathy, exactly. My husband he went to California to get more stuff, and then he came back, and now I have someone who's making me coffee. So that was my advantage today. See, I can't move the Bitmoji, whereas on these other ones, I can move the Bitmoji, and this is editable. So if you on your master slides design it using layouts, you can make sure only student responses come back. And then I am going to, if I use the same folder, is first slide. It grabs the first slide. I need this fly to land right here. I'm ready for it. So you can see how it only says Alice was here, and we have a dog named Pasta. That's so cute, Lauren. But it doesn't say journal 927. So you can pull the text off of the first slide. You can pull the text off of all the slides. You can give feedback, send the feedback, email the feedback, send a prompt, add a blank slide, set some master slides, and then push from those slides. And that's what first slide lets you do. Questions?
Alice, I understand that the children's slides all have to be in a folder that you can make through Google Classroom, but the slides you're pushing out to us, do those have to be contained in that same folder? They can come from anywhere.
They should not.
Okay.
Because
All right.
what it's doing is it's looking for any slides in that folder, and it'll pull any slides from the folder. And then when you push, it's going to push it back. I should mention, did you guys notice there were check boxes? If you uncheck them, it will skip that student. It will not send them feedback. I think it will also not push them a slide. It only, no, I don't know about that. No, just feedback. Just the feedback on the check boxes. I'm pretty sure. I think. I caught a lot of things. I don't remember what I did. You guys see I made a contact. I think it's AliceKeeler.contact log. AliceKeeler.com/contact log. I think that's it. Yes. Okay. Someone asked me on September 8th, how they could do a parent log better. And I'm like, let me look. And, it's the beginning of school. I'm treading water every day. So then I saw the email again. I'm like, yeah, I haven't answered that in a while. I should do this. So this morning I coded where if you want to keep track of all your parent contacts, you can do it in the spreadsheet. But then if you make your parent contact in the spreadsheet and you do send email, and again, there's check boxes, it'll email it from the spreadsheet. So you don't have to email and then log it. It does both at the same time. And you can do like 10 of them at once. So what you do on the contact log, there's a sheet in there for you to put all your student names and emails and parent names and emails. So that when on the contacts sheet, whatever, the first one, yeah, it's contact sheet, when you pick their ID number, it automatically puts their name and it automatically puts their email addresses. So you never have to look it up. I already built in the lookup. And then you type whatever notes you want to type. You're like, didn't do work this week. Didn't do work this week. Didn't do work this week. Checkbox, checkbox, checkbox. Send, and it will send all of them at once. So you only actually have to write one email.
And does it send it so that parents don't see each other's emails?
It sends them as separate emails. It doesn't do it as
okay.
or a BCC. It is.
Okay.
It emails. It actually sends out 3 emails per student. So it sends it to the student, it sends it to the parent, and if you have a second parent email, it'll send it there too. So if you were to email 100 students, you would end up sending 300 emails. Yeah. It's not intended for mass emails. It is intended for parent contacts. You know, those times when you're like, they're not doing their work. And hopefully, if you have 100 students, that not all 100 didn't do any work, right? You're emailing 90 of them. Hopefully, you know, the ones you're concerned about are 5 to 10, right?
So, Alice, Brenda here. I've been in a panic here, and one of my colleagues as well. It will not pull anything from that folder that we select. And I went in and I made sure everybody was
access on those slides.
Pull my folders from a folder.
It's your folder,
Yes.
and you're an editor on those slides.
Yes.
Brenda, when you pick the folder, you have to single click the folder. Single click selects the folder.
Correct. And it's only pulling over one.
You have a shortcut in your folder.
Yes. One of them is.
You need to get rid of that.
Okay.
Put it in a, just make a folder in the folder and drag it in there. The shortcut thing is new. They didn't used to have that. And I was worried that it is doing exactly what it's doing, is it doesn't recognize a shortcut as a file in the folder, which is a problem. So I don't think add-ons, AppScript, I don't think AppScript has figured out what to do with those yet, because I was looking it up and I couldn't find anything, and I asked the experts group and nobody replied to me. And I've coded a lot of things that pull files out of a folder. Like, I couldn't even update them all if I wanted to. I don't even know what they all are. So what I'm gonna have to do, this is more information than you want, Brenda. When I find the codes that are pulling files from Drive, I'm gonna have to do a try catch that it tries to grab the file, and if it's a shortcut, that it skips it.
What if
For now, that's all I can do. I cannot identify shortcuts in a folder with code as far as I can tell.
would a document also stop it from grabbing? Like they had it right on the doc?
I already have a try catch looking for slides.
Right.
The problem is the shortcut is slides.
Right.
So, the problem here, Brenda, is that they fundamentally changed the structure of Drive, and all my code was written prior to that. And it's so new, I'm not really sure how to handle it. So the short answer is don't have shortcuts in your folder.
Okay, Alice, so how do you,
On a folder that you're running code on, for my stuff. And then if you do, just make a folder. That's never a problem to have a folder in the folder, right? And you just drag the shortcut into the folder in the folder, just so that it'll skip it when it's making lists.
so it looks like it always makes it for everything to go in the shortcut now. Like, how do you avoid the shortcut?
You have to be shared on the folder.
Okay.
So the shortcut is because you've made a different folder and you want that file to live in 2 folders. It will not be a shortcut in the original folder. It's only a shortcut when you add it to a second folder. So if you want the same file in 10 folders, you used to be able to do that. It was the same file. Folders don't really exist. They just label them. Like, it just has some meta code. Whatever. I could rant all day long about how the reason they did this is because of ignorance of how digital files work.
Okay.
But it's just such a problem that people just can't cope. They don't understand that the same file can be in 2 folders. And so they decided to make it so it doesn't. And now it's a coding problem. Yay. This is why I live forever, you guys, right? You keep your brain working, learning new things. Your brain's a muscle. Google alone, if you're a Google user, you will never die. Good luck figuring out what the current features on Google Meet is. Anyone? I even tried looking it up and their website wasn't up to date with all the like, you use Google Meet for education versus Google Meet for enterprise. What are the differences and what features are on there and what it now lets you do or what's up and coming? You can't find that. I just
Our
tried
school
to
uses Zoom. Our school uses Zoom. I don't even know if we're an enterprise school. Like, I don't even know if they let the teachers know. They don't talk to us about that.
If you're using Zoom, you're probably not. I had to guess.
That's what I figured. I figured we're not an enterprise school. That's why they gave us Zoom.
They should be an enterprise school. Lauren, the enterprise not only lets you record and have breakout rooms, it also has unlimited plagiarism reports in classroom. And prior to COVID, enterprise had the recording of the meetings and it had the unlimited plagiarism. But the real reason that your school should have already had enterprise, even though they did not, is because it has extra security features. And if you ever get sued or audited, you're going to be real glad you have the extra security features. And they don't do it in Hebrew. Well, I have no fix for that. I bet eventually they will. But the enterprise, I just think is a wise idea regardless of the teacher features. And so I am going to try to get my school to get the enterprise. We'll see. Okay, any more questions? You got to have a folder of slides to practice with it. So if you want to do that, go to alicekeeler.com/folder of slides and make a fake list of students and just use your email address for the email column, or be funny and use your husband's email address for the student email. Am I the only one that does that to their husband? Just me? And make that folder, then try alicekeeler.com/first slide on this practice folder so you can see what it looks like to push and pull. And you do the weekly check-in if you have some questions and things, or of course office hours, you can ask me. Good?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm working with some people, and we Google Meet. They have the blur feature. They have the cast feature.
Yeah, I have those too.
I don't. And I can.
Everything rolls out.
But we're all in the same domain. And we're in the same user group.
Where are you in the Google's database?
Wow.
Probably at the bottom of the list.
Shocker. But bummer. Yeah.
It rolled out. So just hang tight. So Kimberly, it's still in their drive. I named it. I always name all of my assignments. So my bestie here, her journal is number 8. So they can just go to Google Drive and do #008 and boom, it'll come right up. They can find it really. It's also, if they go on the classwork page and it says class folder, which is very poorly named, it's their personal folder for the class. It's still in there.
Okay.
All the work that they attach into assignments actually is in that folder.
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't want to have them to learn to go into their drive and find it. It's just if they're in Google Classroom.
Really, it is good for them to learn how to find files in Drive.
That's true.
So
this is true. It's good for me to learn how to find files.
Go out of school with a few more skills besides the quadratic formula that Google will do for them. Bye, you guys. Have a good Sunday. I'm going to keep working.